Hello and welcome to Wildly Curious, a podcast that tells you everything you need to know about nature and probably more than you wanted to know. I'm Laura.
And I'm Katy, and today is going to be our final episode of Bog Banter, things found in bogs.
Bog Banter.
Bog, NPR, Bog Banter.
Yeah.
They always say everything's so soothing. So,
yes.
Just like the Cave Chronicle guys, we've been doing these mini episodes just in between the seasons until our next season will start. Just so you guys can kind of, hear about some cool things found in bogs.
Yeah, we're helping you scratch that curiosity itch.
Of just, 'tis the season for bogs? Bogs. Like, 'tis the season. All right, so the one I'm going to be talking about is also not a body. So we've had the bog good Lord, bog butter. Then sounds like can't talk. And then we had Laura's Frankenstein bodies. Then we had my Tolan man of perfect preservativity, if that's a word. And then we had your
pickled dinosaur brains.
Pickled dinosaur brains. And today we're going to be talking about the Gundestrup Cauldron. Like a cauldron, like a bowl.
Oh, that was gonna be. I saw that. I didn't read anything about it.
Yes.
But when I was looking for cool things found in bogs, I saw this, and this was my backup.
Yes, this is a cool one. So again, not a person and an object. It was a massive silver cauldron buried in a Danish bog.
Dude, you find that and you put it right the F back. Are you kidding me?
Right? That was my thought. Like, you should not mess with it.
Pull a silver cauldron out of a bog.
Right?
What are you doing?
Right? Well, hold on. It gets even. There's even more red flags here. Why you shouldn't have done this.
Gosh.
So it was found in 1891, again by peat cutters working in a bog near Gundestrup, Denmark.
Back when they definitely still believed in magic.
Right. So it wasn't found in one piece either. It had been dismantled into several large fragments, which were buried at different depths in the peat. This deliberate placement suggests that whoever buried it wanted to ensure it stayed hidden or perhaps protected. Right?
Why would this is what?
Right? So when the fragments were first unearthed, the craftsmanship of the cauldron left everyone in awe. I mean, it is crazy.
I've seen the picture. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's made of 95% silver. The cauldron had all over it very, very intricate engraving showing what appeared to be gods, animals, warriors, just all kinds of different pictures and scenes essentially.
How old do they think that it is? Did you already say?
Yes, I'm going to get into that in a second.
Oh,
here.
Okay.
So, what made this even more interesting? They think it was thought to be dated between 200 BC to 300 AD, and then they narrowed it down to, they think, 150 BC to 1 BC, which is terribly accurate. 1 BC. 1 year before Jesus.
I actually don't think this is the cauldron that I saw. I think there actually might be another cauldron that somebody has found somewhere else, which is even more terrifying.
Terrifying, yeah. Let's see here. It was a very unique style. It didn't match any known Danish craftsmanship at the time. Archaeologists quickly realized that this was likely made from somewhere far from Denmark, perhaps southeastern Europe, in a region known today as Bulgaria or Romania. And this meant that the cauldron then had traveled a long way, either as a prized trade item or maybe they fought a war and then came back, or a sacred object on its journey. Because again, remember we talked in one of the episodes about how it was used for sacrifice, and they saw it as a portal between, the living and then, gods and everything. So the cauldron's burial in the bog raised even more questions. Why would someone dismantle such a valuable object and leave it in the remote? Was it an offering to the gods? Was it just like a hidden treasure or something else entirely?
Something nefarious?
Yes. The cauldron is a masterpiece in craftsmanship, even for that age. Again, 95% silver. It had great detail, and it weighed on different panels, it weighed about 20 pounds, which was a heck of a lot of silver even for back then.
And finding that much silver to make that out of,
right, was
mining
a
would have had to take.
Yeah, so they think, again, like I said, that it likely came from the Balkans. But, what I said about the two different the various cultures on it, they could see it had influences from Celtic, but also Thracian cultures. So the Thracian, I think is how you say it, is from that Bulgaria, Romania, or present-day Bulgaria, Romania, like that area. So it was found in Denmark, but it had Celtic and then this Thracian through Bulgaria, Romania, northern Greece area influence totally on the art. So it was like a weird combination of two completely different areas.
Which almost then makes you think, like, was it a marriage thing?
Yeah, or like what the heck? Or they were saying
like a unification piece?
Yes.
Or like yeah.
So it had 13 panels.
And also, like, is like a pretty random number.
Right.
Like a magic number.
Right. It had a circular base, all covered with, like I said, with carvings. Some of the images depicted gods, animals, warriors, mythical creatures, some of which appeared to be engaged in ritualistic or otherworldly scenes. One is an image with a horned god.
Oh, yes. This is the cauldron that I saw.
Okay.
With the thing with it, like, he's got, like, antlers.
Yes. Yeah. They possibly think that he's the Celtic deity Cernos, I guess, but he's seated
Swearnos or whatever.
Yeah, so he's seated cross-legged and surrounded by animals. Other objects depict warriors preparing for battle, a bull sacrifice, and other just odd scenes here. But it does have a very incredible amount of detail, especially for this time frame and the culture of, like, just how the heck did you get that much silver back then? So, again, then the big question is, why would someone dismantle and bury such a valuable and intricately crafted object in a bog? We talked about it, or I talked about it a little bit here, is that they think, like, right now, the most likely and widely accepted theory is that it was a ritual offering to the gods. We've talked about in several of these other episodes that in many of the cultures, cauldrons were seen as a symbol of abundance, fertility, and the cycle of life and death. And so burying a cauldron in a bog, which is the whole principle of why they would sacrifice to bogs in general, may have just been like an act of devotion meant to secure favor from the gods of, like, here's something very valuable to me that I'm going to give to you.
If you were going to do that, then you would give it as an entire piece, right?
Yeah.
Here's the whole cauldron.
Yeah, right.
Put together.
That way, God, you don't
use.
have to piece it together.
Yeah. Why would you give something that's broken up?
Yeah. Or was that symbolic in its gesture in itself? Again, like I said, another one was that they think it was maybe from war. Like, because the style was so different and it wasn't made in Denmark, it could have been brought back. So they just don't know. And another one was like, was it a gift, like a trade or a gift of some sort that eventually became part of the local culture that they adopted from people moving around? They don't.
Or it was somebody
really
who was really freaked out by the cauldron, and they were like, "This thing is messed up. It's done terrible things. Babies were in it.
Right.
Like, whatever.
Just we gotta split this thing up, give it to God, and be done with it."
Yeah. Bury this thing to the 4 points of the compass.
Yeah,
so that it can never be rejoined.
Right.
Like, that's terrifying. I'm telling you, man. I would never touch something. I would never put it back together. Even if I touched it, I'd be like, all right, this is clearly like.
This is like in the movie The Mummy. If you're in a pyramid and you find, like, jars and organs, like, why would you?
Don't touch it.
Yeah. Why would you do that? Don't do.
Curses
don't do
on
that.
your entire family.
And your cow. No, if anybody knows.
Yeah.
Mulan. Curse you. Anyway. But yeah, I would never, do that. I don't know.
So cool, but I'd be so freaked.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd find one panel, I'd be like, wow, this is really cool. And then
find another one?
Then I'd be like, yeah. Once you're like, oh, okay, nope, not putting in that final piece, that 13th piece. It's so weird. It's like a weird.
But then also, too, the fact that you've gotten, like, whoever had to take it apart, like, you don't just, like, take apart a cauldron, a silver cauldron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't, like, snap apart easily. You're not, like, popping pieces together. It's like you had to, like, hack it up.
Cut it up.
Yeah.
That's what makes me think, right, it was very intentional. I mean, obviously it was intentional.
But like,
right, for what reason?
For what reason, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anyway, that's the Gundestrup Cauldron.
Jeebies.
Yeah. Well, that is the last bog banter. That was
a good
fun.
one to end on.
Yeah. A lot of questions for a lot of these ones, because we just, again, as we start to explore and find more, sometimes it's more questions than have answers, that's for sure. And with some of these, definitely did. All right, guys. Well, go check us out on Patreon to support us so we can keep bringing you content like this. And then we will be starting up here in the next week or two with our new season.
Woo woo!
Season 11. Crazy.
Season 11.
Crazy. Fourth year.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. Well, thank you guys. And we will talk to you next season.
Bye, everybody.